consciousness, but they're playful, they're tricksy, they're tricksters, and they convey knowledge. And they're also moral teachers. This is the funny thing. They make us confront our baggage.
How so?
Well, I can say in my case, I recently had an experience with the other kind of DMT, very recently, which is 5-MeO DMT. The DMT we're talking about is NN-DMT.
Okay.
And that is the one that most frequently produces entity encounters and the sense of telepathic communication with entities. And science is not in a position to write that off. Quantum physics is looking at the possibility of multiple dimensions, very open to that possibility. Maybe what's happening is that our consciousness is getting retuned by DMT to gain access to dimensions of reality that are normally close to us. We think reality is just this, but actually it's all this. And in a deeply altered state of consciousness, the need for the alert problem-solving mindset is damped out, and we can open up to other areas of reality. Who knows what's going on there? But the issue is, are people learning something new in this state? This would touch on the question of whether psychedelics were helpful in energizing an ancient civilization and getting it going. I would cite the very well-known case of Kerry Mullis, the polymerase chain reaction PCR test, which has been fundamental for all DNA work subsequently. He admitted openly that he would never have made that discovery if he hadn't taken LSD. Wow. LSD gave him that discovery.
You said you recently had an experience with the other type
with 5-MeO.
Yeah. What was that?
It was beautiful. Okay, so 5-MeO DMT is a bit controversial because in the basic form it comes from the secretions of a particular kind of toad. And those secretions can be scraped off and smoked directly. In that case, the smoke is quite cloudy, and you're ingesting not only the 5-MeO DMT but other elements that are in the secretions of the toad. It's possible to have synthetic 5-MeO DMT, which is pure, which doesn't have the other elements in the secretions of the toad, and which doesn't involve killing toads. And that's the kind of 5-MeO DMT that I had, was in a pure synthetic form. I was alarmed before I did it because I've had alarming experiences on the other DMT, NN-DMT. Our facilitator helped me out and helped others in the group out by giving us MDMA first. We had.
Wow. We're getting it in, Graham.
We're totally getting it in. It's only the second time in my life I've ever experienced MDA.
Oh, it's great, isn't it?
What a great thing!
It's amazing.
God,
Yeah.
it's wonderful, and you feel so just overwhelmed with love. It's just such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So we had that 3 or 4 hours before we had the 5-MeO DMT, and then 3 at a time we lay down, and we first sat up to take one massive deep inhalation on the pipe, and then hold it in, and then release it, and then my wife Salta can do this and sit up. She does it with NN-DMT, and she did it with the 5-MeO as well. Just sit up, and she does these mudras. Very, very present. I have to lie down. I can't be seated. I can't be standing up. I've got to lie down flat, and I actually pulled on an eye mask as I was lying down, and then the only visionary element of the 5-MeO was like a feather with an eye at the end of it, but most of it was about how I need to honor and respect and love my wife, and how I.
That was the mother she was doing, is get you to see that.
That I have to, But that I have a problem with anger. I get angry too quickly, and that anger can be very hurtful to other people, and particularly hurtful to my wife. And it showed me that, and basically said, you gotta fix this.
And how does it show to you? Is it intuition, or
it was more intuition? It wasn't a scene of me shouting, but it was a recognition that that's what I do, and that it's harmful and useless, and it's harmful to me, and it's harmful to everybody around me.
So there's a communication with a celestial being without any words at all.
Without any words, but you get.
Fuck.
The other intention that I set, I had 3 goes on the pipe on that day, with about an hour and a half between each one, and on the 3rd go, my intention was more selfish. My intention was that
Big L's.
help me to get rid of my migraine headaches, because I suffered very badly from migraine. In fact, it's a kind of curse. And I wanted to focus on that. Maybe there's some way that it could affect me. And I did feel, perhaps it was my imagination, but I did feel fingers massaging the back of my head where migraines often start, and then massaging my temple. And then abruptly it stopped, and it returned to the issue of my relationship. And I thought that it stopped like that because the 5-MeO DMT had fixed my migraines. But the very next day, I had another massive migraine. And I think what happened was that 5-MeO DMT was saying, actually, we can't fix this. Let's move on. It was an extraordinary experience. I wouldn't recommend anybody to do it completely alone or any kind of DMT. I think it's important to have a responsible facilitator who's used to handling people in this state. Everybody responds in different ways.
Yeah.
Some people can really freak out. It's not necessarily a bad thing to freak out. It's not necessarily a bad thing to feel fear. But you want somebody around who's a sitter, who understands the medicine and who can help you through that.
You said earlier that it removes you from the problem-solving consciousness
Yes.
state.
All right,
We're
got to
normally-
draw.
we're
Good.
normally thinking of the